my boyfriend just broke up with me literally 10 minutes ago. Everything was literally fine. Everything was totally fine. Nothing seemed off on my end. We had plans today. He was supposed to come over after he went to the beach with his friends. I noticed today is the only day that I noticed something was weird. He didn't text me good morning. He was super slow to respond to my texts, super vague about our plans for tonight. He comes over. I open the door. He goes, "We need to talk." I said, "Okay." He goes, "I think we need to break up." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Honestly, Liz, like, I'm looking for a life partner and I just don't see you being my life partner." Keep in mind, we've only been dating for 2 months. I go, "Okay." I was like, "Is it something that I did? Is it something that I said?" Because he asked me to be his girlfriend after like 4 weeks of dating. He's the one who initiated me meeting his friends. He was like asking me like, "How many kids do you want? Do you like your family?" Like really like it seemed like he liked me. I'm literally in such shock right now. And then, yeah, he was like, "I'm just not looking for a life partner." I was like, "Is it something that I did?" He goes, "No, I think you're amazing." I said, "Okay." I literally said, I was like, "I'm in such shock." And he goes, "Yeah, like, honestly, it's nothing that you did. I'm just looking for a wife and I don't see you being my wife." Again, we've been dating for 2 months. And I go, "Okay, so why did you ask me to be your girlfriend?" And then he goes, "Honestly, like, you know, at the time, like really vague, like kind of stuttering, like not really answering." He goes, "Like at the time, you know, I thought that I saw it, but honestly, nothing ever really clicked for me." I'm like, "Okay, so if nothing ever really clicked, why did you ask me to be your girlfriend?" Like truly just like he was giving me nothing, no useful information whatsoever. Just really reinforcing he doesn't see me being his wife. He doesn't see me being his life partner after 2 months of dating. And I just said, okay. I was in such shock. This was really the last thing that I expected. And then I said, "Okay, you just wasted 2 months of my life. Because if nothing ever really clicked, you should have never asked me to be your girlfriend." I could not believe it when he said that. He should have never, ever asked me to be official. Because now I'm over here sitting thinking like, "Oh, you never liked me. Like, you just wanted to keep me around. You never liked me." He said yes to meeting all of my friends, never hesitated. He hung out with like a ton of my friends from different groups. He was talking the other day, I was talking about how me and my friend are going to the Beyonce concert on September 4th. He goes, "Oh, that's going to be our 6-month anniversary." We had plans to go on a double date with 2 of my friends like 3 days ago. He texts me that day. He goes, "I feel sick." At the time, I thought that he really was sick. Now I know that he was definitely lying because he knew that he wanted to break up with me and he didn't want to meet my friends. So he said, "I don't see you being my wife." I said, "Okay." I said, "You just wasted 2 months of my life." He goes, "I'm sorry." He kind of just really has nothing to say. I say, "Get the fuck out of my house. I have nothing to say to you." He gets up. I walk him to the door. I open the door. He kind of turns around to say something. I think he's about to start saying, "I'm sorry" again. I slam the door in his face and I lock the door. I had nothing to say to him. He owes me $60 because like 4 days ago, he committed to go to a comedy show with me. And I said I would buy the tickets and I did. And they are non-refundable. So he owes me $60. I texted him like 10 minutes ago. I said, "You owe me $60 for this." He has not responded. He better send me that money. And that's all I have to say. I mean, it's weird because it's like I'm in such shock and I genuinely am really sad. But also we've only been dating for 2 months. So it's not like I wasn't in love with him. And it really is not a significant amount of time. It's more just like I'm really in shock. And also, I really don't think he ever liked me. I genuinely don't. I think he asked me to be his girlfriend to kind of keep me around. I think I was his type on paper. I think he was like, "She's beautiful, she's fun, and we want the same things out of life." And I think in his brain, he was like, "Well, that's a girlfriend." But I don't think he ever really liked me. So yeah, hot girl summer incoming. I'm going to Lebanon in a week and a half for about 3 weeks. And then I'm gonna come back and it's gonna be hot girl summer. I'm at least grateful that he didn't drag this out any longer than it needed to be dragged out, because now I can kind of do my own thing. I can kind of get back to doing what I was doing when I first started making TikToks. Am I a psycho for getting broken up with and immediately making a TikTok about it? Yes, I am a psycho for doing this, but it feels really good to get it off of my chest, honestly. And also I share my dating life on TikTok, so obviously I'm gonna talk about this. But yeah, really weird. He's weird for this.
Would you get back with your ex even after he beat you? This is a story of Rihanna and Chris Brown. Rihanna and Chris Brown met in 2005. God, that feels like so long ago. It's rumored that their relationship started back in 2007, but they did deny it. They both claimed that they were best friends and that there was nothing going on and that they were like brother and sister. But people could just tell. I mean, when you're in love and people can see it. They made their relationship official the following year on Twitter. Read in a couple of articles, and I'm sorry if anything is incorrect. You guys can go ahead and correct me in the comments. I read in an article that early on in the relationship, there were a lot of rumors of infidelity from Chris Brown's side. And even early on, there were rumors about violence between them. I mean, think about it. They're these two young, beautiful, extremely talented, extremely famous artists that were thrown together and made into this it couple. I imagine they would have felt some sort of pressure about keeping their relationship perfect and being the perfect couple and being a good example, but you just never know what's happening behind closed doors between two people. Everything culminated on February 8th, 2009. I believe this may be the night of the incident, but I can't be sure. And if you know, let me know in the comments. So a little backstory on why this might have even happened. Rihanna knew of a girl in Chris Brown's life before they even got together. Rihanna asked Chris Brown if he had anything with her, and he said no. This is where some of the articles don't really tie the ends together. She might have found messages between them. This made Rihanna feel really insecure, and she felt like he was lying to her. So the night of the pre-Grammy party, this girl shows up. Rihanna gets instantly upset. She starts to cry, and Chris Brown tries to calm her down. They end up having a really fun night. By the way, they were both underage and drinking at the pre-Grammy party, which I'm just like, yeah, it's Hollywood. What do you expect? I assume the alcohol made everything 10 times worse. After the party, they get in the Lamborghini they rented and start heading home. Rihanna starts looking through Chris's phone and finds messages from the girl. The girl apparently said, "I'll see you at the party." When Rihanna had asked him previously that night if he knew that she was going to the party, he said no. So she basically caught him in a lie. And what happens next is just absolutely horrible. Finds the messages on his phone, confronts him, and he starts getting angry right away. She had clearly caught him in a lie. I'm gonna go ahead and read a direct quote from Rihanna about what happened that night. "I caught him in a lie and he wouldn't tell the truth. I wouldn't drop it. I kept saying, I couldn't take that he kept lying to me, and he couldn't take that I wouldn't drop it. Because obviously his back was up against the wall. The truth is right there in the text messages. So it escalated into him being violent towards me, and it was ugly." Okay, now I'm going to read direct quotes about what Chris says happened that night. "She throws the phone, 'I hate you, whatever, whatever.' She starts hitting me. We're in a little Lamborghini. You know, she's fighting me. Like, I remember she tried kicking me, just like her beating shit. Then I really hit her with a closed fist, like I punched her, and it busted her lip. And when I saw it, I was in shock. I was like, fuck, why did I hit her like that?" This is where I'm like, he's trying to set the picture. I get that she might have been hitting him, but that still does not give you a reason to freaking beat her up. It gives you more of a reason to get out of the car, you know, to defuse the situation, not make it worse by actually punching her in the face with a closed fist. From there, she's spitting blood in my face. It raised me even more. It's a real fight in the car, and we're driving in the street. Okay, at this point, Rihanna's punched. Then she tries to grab his crotch because he didn't want to give her the phone. And Chris says, "I'm just trying to resolve the situation. I'm not trying to fight any further. Like, I love her. I don't want to hurt my girlfriend." Then Rihanna gets out of the car and starts yelling, "Help, he's trying to kill me." Rihanna was left beaten. You can tell in the pictures. I'm not going to show that, of course. A man heard Rihanna scream, and then he called 911. The police got there and they arrested Chris. And he did plead guilty to a felony assault, which is pretty bad. So he was sentenced to probation, community service, and domestic violence counseling. Imagine from one day to the next, your relationship is pretty much over. The entire world hates your boyfriend. You still love him, but you're angry at him. So you need time off, for sure. But then the twist of a lifetime, they get back together. After the incident, they get back together. Directly after the incident, Chris gets arrested and Rihanna takes some time off. Rihanna spoke out about domestic violence, and she also became a spokesperson of victims of abuse. Meanwhile, Chris's career takes a hit and he loses a huge endorsement from Wrigley's gum. He absolutely deserved to lose that endorsement. This is what Wrigley's had to say about it. It was the very next day after the incident. We have made the decision to suspend the current advertising featuring Chris Brown and any related marketing communications until the matter is resolved. I mean, how are you going to resolve such a thing? I think they were just saying that because they were like, we got to get rid of Chris Brown. Who's going to want to be associated to somebody that just beat up their girlfriend? Publicly. Yeah? Then comes the Oprah Winfrey interview. And I'm not going to play clips of it because Rihanna's very emotional in it, and I just don't want to replay that. Not that emotion is a bad thing, but I just don't feel like it's gratuitous, you know? In the interview, Rihanna said that he was definitely her first big love. We were best friends. We fell in love with each other. To fall in love with your best friend, it can be scary. We just fell really fast. The more in love we became, the more dangerous we became for each other, equally as dangerous because it was a bit of an obsession almost. There is so much to unpack in that one statement. She is aware that they were both dangerous for each other and that it was an obsession between the two of them. She also said, I resented him so much and I always put that tough face on. The I can do anything face, tried to play it off. But he knew and he kept asking me, you hate me, don't you? You hate me. And I would lie and say no. Everything about him annoyed me, him being around me, him talking to me, everything was annoying for me. Then they were seen together out publicly. And he was with her on her 24th birthday as well. And it was rumored that they sat together at the 2012 Grammy Awards. In 2013, Rihanna confirmed on Twitter that they were back together. God, there is just so much that goes into getting back together with somebody that's been abusive, and your family knows, and your friends know, and the entire world knows when you're famous. I would imagine that would have been really hard on her. About it, she said, even if it's a mistake, it's my mistake. After being tormented for so many years, being angry and dark, I'd rather just live my truth and take the backlash. I can handle it. Then they made 2 songs, Nobody's Business and Birthday Cake. They were everywhere on social media too, like this post, this one. They looked happy. She looked so happy. Look at her face. This was, again, happiness. Jeez. But then eventually they break up again. Years later, they get back together and they're gallivanting around town. They're spending time together and people hate that they're back together. But then they have to deal with reality. Rihanna actually ended up going to court with Chris Brown. Prosecutors were accusing Chris Brown of having not completed his 180 days of community service for the Rihanna and Chris Brown incident. This woman had his back by showing up to court with him. I mean, that headline of like walk of shame, Rihanna goes to court with Chris Brown wearing the same clothes. Who cares? Why is that a walk of shame? Like, literally, who cares? She still looks stunning, by the way. Shortly after this, they ended up breaking up again. And this was the last time that they broke up. Rihanna cited that their busy schedules is what made them break up, but who knows? There is so much history there between them. You know, maybe even having to go to court with him brought up some issues for her. And also the whole Karachu Tran thing. I'm sorry if I'm saying her name wrong. Should I do a deep dive on the love triangle between those 3, by the way? I mean, maybe that played a role in their breakup. I'm not sure if he was already with, I think so, right? I don't know. I might be wrong. Chris Brown called Rihanna the one that got away in 2004 in an interview. I'm glad she got away. Rihanna is now a mama. Rihanna has a baby with A$AP Rocky. And she's pregnant again, which she announced during her halftime performance at the NFL. What is that called? What? I saw pictures of them like walking together, and the way she looks at A$AP Rocky, she is so in love with this man. And you can just tell he treats her so well. Chris Brown also has 2 children, and I couldn't find if he had a partner. Let me just say, even though all of that happened, Chris Brown's career has still taken off. He's had a ton of music come out, movies, but he's also had a ton of other physical altercations between him and Drake and him and other women. He's been accused of SA and RAPE, although I don't know if that's true. I don't know. He seems like a very complicated person, so I'm glad Rihanna got away. I'm glad. And maybe she had to go through getting back together with him to see that they just were not meant to be together, or that they didn't work together. Of course, Rihanna has Fenty. Rihanna has had so much success in what she's doing. So congratulations to Rihanna and for her new babies. It's amazing. The end.
The crazy things that I wanted to do at the end of my situationship, like when it ended. And yeah, I know this is me exposing myself and I'm about to look real fucking crazy, but I don't give a fuck. We've all been there and I didn't do any of them. I just thought about it. First thing I wanted to do is I wanted to send him a text telling him I hope someone lights him on fire. Because from the bottom of my soul, I really did want someone to light him the fuck on fire. Next thing I wanted to do is really fucking weird and random. We were in no contact and I wanted to break that no contact by sending him a text that said, why is Abby Lee Miller in a wheelchair? Because like I saw a TikTok and I was like, how fucking funny would that be if I break no contact by sending a text that's like, why is Abby Lee Miller in a wheelchair? Because why the fuck is Abby Lee Miller in a wheelchair? Like, I should have done my research. I have no idea why that bitch is in a wheelchair. And I know he wouldn't have the answer to it, and that was the fucking point. The next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to post, you know the little notes thing on Instagram where like I think only your friends can see it? Like people that you follow and they follow back. Well, I wanted to make a note and I wanted to say, all men can fucking die. And then I was like, no, Livy, you're gonna scare the hoes. Like I still gotta entertain these hoes out here. Like, I was in the heat of it. I was like, all men can die, and I wanted Instagram to know it for some reason. The next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to post a full-on photo of him to my Instagram story saying that I wish he died. Okay, I get it. That's so fucking oh my god, Livy, bad karma. Fuck off. Fuck off. I was going through something. So you can shut the fuck up with your opinions. Like, you know, it'd be kind of funny just for me to post on Instagram a photo of him being like, wish you died. Okay, maybe not. Or even funnier, post a photo of him that was like miss you. Like, that's just weird. And I think he'd be like, what the fuck? And I just thought it was funny. I genuinely thought about doing was coming on here and just like revealing all of his information. Like, you know how fucked up that would be if I did that? I honestly think it'd be a little bit funny, but just like revealing every single thing about him. And it's like, I don't deserve this much power. If that was like my first thought, I'm like, let me expose this motherfucker. I didn't do any of these things. Like, I know you guys are ride or fucking die for me, so I just know we would have like caused chaos. And there's actually several fucking people in my life that I wish could just come on here and be like, here's their info, guys, go fucking crazy, because they deserve it. But you know what? I have to be the bigger person. Next thing I wanted to do is I did want to fake a pregnancy. Every bitch has done that, okay? You're lying if you look at me and say that you didn't once think about texting him being like, I'm carrying your child just for the fuck of it. That one goes hand in hand with like being like, you literally gave me the clap. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, he obviously didn't give me the clap, but I mean, I honestly don't. I should actually, I also wanted to send like, you miss me or what text, like you miss, and he did it. And he does not miss me, but just to be like, you miss me or what? And he would have been like, shut the fuck up. I did also want to get a Blade brand deal, like the private jet company, and that's for personal reasons. But Blade, I'm still open to fucking working with you. I did also think about making a TikTok that was like, you guys, like I just ended something, but I met someone new, and just like fucking lying, you know? Just to really get his gears going and just like piss him the fuck off. He honestly probably would have been like, thank God. Like, imagine how funny if I came on here and I was like, you guys, I just ended something with somebody else, but I think I met my soulmate. Thank God he fucking left. Like, I met my soulmate. I honestly would have had to come on here and be like, all right, so I fucking lied. I was doing that for a specific reason. And I think you guys would have got it. I think you guys would have been like, bitch, we get it. We understand. But yeah, like, that's not cute. I did also just want to like act up on every single social media platform I have. Like, I literally thought about posting my tits to my close friend's story and just like full fucking nude, like to the close friend, just for him to be like, what the fuck was that? These were just like little random thoughts that would come up throughout the days when I was just like feeling hurt. I'd be like, I'm just feeling hurt. Like, maybe I should put my tits to my close friends. How funny would that be? And Sissy would be like, not that fucking funny at all. Like, you're no fun, bitch. Like, you're no fucking fun. Honestly impressed with myself. Like, I literally did none of these things that I wanted to do, and I really fucking wanted to do them, and I just think it's impressive, and that just shows my growth as a woman, because like 2019 me would have lit that bitch. Like, to have those low-key intrusive thoughts but just stay silent the whole time is like fucking powerful. So ladies, we can think about lighting these fuckers on fire, but honestly, just stay silent.
Trigger warning on this story, though, you guys, it does contain mentions of suicide. My 24 male, girlfriend, 23 female, is staying at her sister's, 27 female, until I, quote, admit I have a problem and get psychiatric help. This all started earlier last year. My parents were going through a rough divorce, and my dad attempted suicide, which left him not all there mentally, even though he survived. I basically had to take care of him, and it brought me a lot of stress as I am a full-time PhD student living off a stipend and nothing more. Between that and my girlfriend's income, we live decently in the city we're in, but there's not much room for this kind of responsibility financially. It definitely took a toll on me, and I got really depressed after a while and started struggling with severe insomnia. I guess that is where this all took the biggest turn. My girlfriend was very supportive at first, and even when I was dealing with that, she understood. I've done my best to keep her out of it, which is why I initially started sleeping on the couch to not disturb her with my tossing and turning. Eventually, I just gave up on sleep altogether and started going on night drives. She was aware of this and didn't have any issues with it, but eventually I started to be gone for hours, and she was getting worried. Understandably, I guess. We had a talk about it last month, and I explained what I usually do to her in hopes of clearing her mind. This is the part of the situation that I admit is difficult to explain. Basically, after I'd been going on these night drives for a while, there was one night where I came across a young woman crying outside of a gas station. I felt bad for her and had nowhere to be, so I stopped to see if she was okay. Turns out she was a minor, 16, and had a bad home situation. I offered to give her a ride somewhere because that part of town, or really any at 3 a.m., isn't particularly safe for an underage girl to be walking around, and she hesitantly accepted. I drove her to some house on the other side of town, and that was all there was to that specific interaction. The girl was obviously nervous the whole time, as I guess any teenage girl would be in a strange man's car, but I really just wanted to help, and it felt good seeing her relief when I actually took her where she wanted to go. So basically after that, I started driving around at night and looking for other girls/women that were by themselves and might need a ride. It took a while to actually find someone, which I guess is good, but eventually I did, and it just kind of became a night hobby where I would drive around and give these girls rides whenever I could find them, especially on the poorer side of town. I started to do this regularly. I can admit it's a weird thing, and a lot of people may wonder why I just didn't Uber or something, but that isn't the same. I specifically enjoyed helping people I felt actually needed it, and I got this unexplainable enjoyment out of seeing them go from anxious to relieved every time they got out of my car. Does he hear it? I explained that to my girlfriend, and she said it sounded extremely predatory, which I was confused by because I never even touched any of these girls, especially since several of them were underage and I'm not like that. She said it didn't matter if I did or not though, and it was just inherently predatory/weird. We had a big argument, but eventually we made up and I agreed to just stop going on night drives altogether. That was about a month ago, and things were awkward the entire time, but we lived together fairly peacefully until earlier this week. I ran into some unexpected financial trouble last week when I suddenly needed new tires, and it put me in a bit of a bind with taking care of my dad and all. I ended up having to take on more credit card debt to get everything done, and basically after that, I was just extremely stressed and ended up doing another night drive. I didn't even pick up any girls, but my girlfriend was waiting for me when I got home around 5 a.m., and we got into a big fight. She thinks I've been doing all that again. I haven't. This was my first drive in general in all that time, and she ended up just leaving to go stay with her sister. Basically, she said she's willing to work things out, but I need to get psychiatric help and, quote, stop preying on vulnerable women, even if I think it's harmless, as a means of coping. I am already seeing a therapist, so I don't really know what else to do. I don't see that earlier behavior as predatory at all, and I haven't even done that in like a month anyways. She just doesn't believe me. What more can I do besides continuing therapy? Whoa.
I do not know what the fuck my mother is on recently, but she's definitely on her crazy bitch pills. I can say that because fucking same. I've been ODing on my crazy bitch pills, but my mother has just been like a new level of fucking crazy. So for Christmas, for my mom's present and my sister's present, I'm booking a home like somewhere tropical, taking them on vacation, and I'm like, it's just something I wanted to do to celebrate Christmas together, whatever. It's their fucking present. For some reason, my mother wants me to book it now, so I'm literally booking 6 months in advance, but I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll just like look at places. She will send me places that are like $5,000 a night to stay at. I'm like, wait, back this shit up a little. Also, like, this is a me thing. Like, I'm booking this so I can like surprise everybody. No, this bitch has all the input in the world. He's here. I send my mom a place and I'm like, I think we're gonna book this. It's gorgeous. It's exactly what I want. You wanna know what she responds? Vivi, this is not on the beach. I go, Mom, where we're going, if we stay on the beach, it's going to be a $20,000 vacation just for the fucking home. And like, I don't know, like, I'm not spending 20 grand. Why? I don't fucking have 20 grand to spend on a vacation. My mother says to me, she goes, well, you better get to TikToking. I said, be so fucking for real right now. And why the fuck don't you get to TikToking? Like, why am I the only one in this family pulling their weight? Like, this bitch, she could easily get a TikTok and do some fucking story time. She chooses not to. She wants a $20,000 vacation. She should get to fucking TikToking. Cause like, let me tell you, even if I had $20,000 to spend on a home, I wouldn't. Like, you guys think I'm delusional? My mother lives in a land of delusion. Like, why the absolute fuck would I book a home for $20,000? And she fully was like, yeah, like, why would you not book a home for $20,000? Next reason I think my mother is on her crazy bitch pills is because she was ordering my contacts for me because she had like all the information with the contact place. And I was like, just let me know how much it is and I'll like send you the money after. My mother goes, oh, just like send me your card info. I said, this bitch has to be on actual crack if she thinks I would ever send her my card information. What? I'm in my zone, so that's why I yelled at Sissy. But Sissy's editing my podcast behind me because she's working for me now. And I forgot, like, she doesn't know how to edit. So, like, I just expect her to, like, know everything. And so when she keeps asking me 24/7, and I'm like, Sissy, why don't you get it? And
I asked 4 questions.
Anyway, giving my mother my card information would be like literally giving an arsonist a fucking like 80 million lighters. Mind you, I cry in this week's episode a little bit about my breakup, like not really, and Sissy's cackling back there. She thinks it's so fucking funny. Honestly, it is low-key embarrassing that I'm gonna post that, but whatever. Go to my mom. I'm like, Mom, there's not a world that I'm giving you my card information ever, because I know I would get like a receipt from Chanel and she'd be like, oh, I accidentally used your card. I meant to use mine. Like, there's just no fucking world where she's getting my card. I'm like, the nerve this bitch has just to say it so fucking casually. Just be like, yeah, like, just send me your card info. It's like, bitch, what? No. You want my routing number and my account number too? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. My mother also went on a weird rampage this week where she canceled every single streaming platform we have. And like, Sissy and I lost our minds. Also, because we all pay for like different streaming platforms. And so we realized that later, like, my mom's like, I've been paying for Apple TV. And Sissy's like, I've been paying for Apple TV. And I'm like, well, I have my own Apple TV that I've also been paying for. My mom was like, I'm over it. I'm done. Like, I'm done spending money on these streaming services. Like, figure it the fuck out. And we were like, okay, whatever. A little harsh, but that's fine. But she has these moments where she's like, I'm not spending money on streaming services anymore. And we're like, okay, Mom, whatever, fucking don't then. And then she'll call me the next day and be like, so what's the login? So I'm grown and I can afford my own streaming services, but there's just something that like, when your parents are paying for it, it just feels so fucking nice. It's just like a burden taken off your back. I don't know what the fuck it is. Because it's honestly only like $7, which is like a latte a month. Like, that's literally nothing. But at the same time, it's just, there's something so fucking nice that like she just covered it. You know, there's something nice about that. My mother's like, I'm done with the streaming services. And I'm like, great fucking timing. Like, the Kardashians just came out on Hulu. Like, I just want to watch the Kardashians. Sissy and I are losing our minds. We're like, why did you do this? Like, literally the premiere of the Kardashians, you decide to fucking cancel Hulu. Like, who does that? Who just does that? So I put Hulu on my card, I put HBO Max on my card, and I put Peacock on my card. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just buy it for us, Sissy. Like, I don't really care. Guess who calls me the next day asking for the fucking login? My mother is like, what's the login for Hulu Live? And I'm like, no. You just made me put every single thing on my card because you were done with streaming services and you weren't going to watch them or whatever. Though I don't know what fucking Eat, Pray, Love journey you were on that you needed to cancel every like streaming service, but you did it, bitch. Like, you're not getting the login. And she's like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to. And I was like, I'm over the outburst. Yes, now every streaming service is on my card. He just goes to me, wait, does he say what you said?
I said, do you want to edit this part out? You say, I'm fixing my titties, fuck off.
Go listen to the podcast or watch it on YouTube if you haven't. No, keep that in. So I got some PR this morning and I posted it to my Instagram story. Guess who was the first to swipe up and be like, I need some? My fucking mother. Go look at my Instagram story. I posted what she said. This woman has no shame. She like will see the PR and goes absolutely fucking nuts. So really piss her off. I'm like, no, sorry, I gave it all to Sissy, which she fucking hates that. But that is exactly why I think my mom's back on her crazy pills.
My
wrong for not giving a wedding present I promised because I was uninvited? I, 32 male, was invited to a wedding of an acquaintance of mine named Molly a few months ago. I'm not super close to her or her fiance, but I love weddings, so I said, yeah, I'll go. Now, the relevant part here is that I have a very good career and make an excellent living. Plus, I love giving gifts and splurging a bit. So I spoke with Molly and her fiance and promised them a custom-made gaming PC since they game together. They were very happy and thanked me a lot. The price of the PC would come out to be a little over $1,500, not counting the monitor I was willing to throw in. This is a gift for an acquaintance? What do you get for like your close family and friends? That's what I want to know. 2 months ago, Molly told me that unfortunately I had to be uninvited to the wedding as part of a cost-cutting measure. She apologized but assured me it was only because of cost. I was upset but let it go. Then I found out a week or so later that a mutual acquaintance that was still going that Molly told her she had to cut people because she needed the invites for some of the groom's family who decided to come. I was pissed, so I decided to not give Molly the PC I promised. Molly's wedding happened 2 weeks ago, and from what I can tell, it was a nice ceremony. Afterwards, she actually texted me asking if we could talk about when the PC would arrive. I asked if we could call. She said yes. I told her that since I didn't go to the wedding, that I wasn't going to get her a gift. I don't see anything wrong with that. Why would I? That's so weird. Like, hey, you can't come to my wedding anymore, but please feel free to still give me the $1,500 gift that you were going to get me. We had a long argument where I said I was being petty and that I was holding it against her that I couldn't come and that I made a promise. I didn't tell her that I knew because I wanted to protect the person who told me. She called me a petty asshole and complained to our friend. I explained to a few select people the whole story. Most agreed with me, but some said that weddings cause people to make very tough decisions that aren't personal. Now I'm doubting myself. Maybe it wasn't personal and I'm just being petty. But she did lie to me and uninvited me while still expecting an expensive gift from me. So, am I the asshole?